Tonight on Missing Persons Unit, Mandili Barletta took off after being dumped by his fiancé.
He was quite upset and quite angry and saying that he's driving away and never coming back.
Jilted and in debt, his mother now fears life has all become too much for the 24-year-old.
Even the loan sharks can really hurt you. They can physically hurt you.
And where is 77-year-old dementia sufferer Betty Blacker?
We think she's got disorientated somehow and missed a stop at Beverly Hills Station.
Lost and alone in the city, police fear no one will know Betty needs help.
The real problem we have is finding Betty. Is people just sort of won't take any notice of her.
Marlene Najarian took to the streets after the death of her mother.
It made it to the funeral, and after that, she just lost it.
With no sign of her for 4 months, her family now holds grave fears.
Please, wherever you are, just give me a ring.
And the search continues for New Zealand tourist Jamie Herdman, who vanished from Australia's top end.
This could have been the last place that Jamie was seen alive.
His family, having flown to Australia, is desperate for answers to this 18-month-long mystery.
Please, come forward so that we can find our boy.
Hi and welcome to Missing Persons Unit. 1 in every 5 Australians at some stage will experience a mental illness. Of those, 9,000 will disappear each year, particularly due to depression or dementia. And all too often, it's left to the families or the carers to bear the brunt of these silent and cruel disorders. In this next episode, you'll see the great work police do when they reunite 3 such families. At the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit,
hello, is that Janet?
Yes.
Janet,
Senior Constable Mandy Gale is speaking to the distressed cousin of 51-year-old Marlene Najarian, who vanished 16 weeks ago, soon after her mother's death.
Ever since her mother got sick, she refused to put her in the homes.
So she looked after her mum?
She looked after her till the last minute that she died in her hand in the unit. And that was it. Until it made it to the funeral, and after that, she just lost it.
Depressed and unable to face her mother's death, Marlene disappeared. But then, out of the blue, 2 weeks ago, she was spotted living on the streets.
Who actually saw her around Fairfield?
One of the friends, I don't know,
Okay.
they just called me. They said, she's there. I went there. I didn't find her.
Okay.
I just need a roof over her head. That's
Yeah.
all I want.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, Janet. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh. She's really distressed. She explained that her cousin obviously was a person with a lot of pride, and her mum was everything to her. So when she's obviously lost her mother and to her obviously got nothing left and has taken to living on the streets, and if we can change that and help her understand she still has family here that care about her, well, that's a good thing.
Last week, we brought you the story of 26-year-old New Zealand tourist Jamie Herdman. Jamie's been missing since his camper van was found abandoned at a truck stop at Daly Waters in the Northern Territory. That was 18 months ago.
His mobile phone was located here, so there were no keys in the vehicle when it was located, but it was unlocked.
And no passport either?
No.
There have been numerous separate sightings of Jamie in Yass, in regional New South Wales and in Sydney.
I wonder if you've seen this fella around the area in the last couple of months.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely him?
Yep. I'm pretty sure I seen him on the weekend at the markets they held here in town.
Does that look like him?
Yeah, definitely.
But it looks as if Jamie has moved on and vanished again. So now his dad and partner Deb are relocating from England to Darwin to start their own search.
It's a big move, and obviously the family's looking for some form of closure with Jamie's disappearance, and to have one link in the family chain missing is very hard on all of them.
Northern Territory Police are pulling out all stops to find Jamie.
There was an article put in the Northern Territory News with Steve and his partner Deb and making another appeal. There has been a number of responses to that, and whilst nothing's been substantiated yet, there are obviously further avenues of investigation that we've got open to us.
With any luck, this article could lead to the answers that Jamie's family is so desperately seeking. Back in New South Wales, Mandy and Phil hit the road in the case of Marlene Najarian, missing now for 4 months.
We're heading out to St Mary's this morning to speak to Janet. She's a cousin of our missing person, and we're just going to sit down and get an idea of what her cousin's like and just the area she was last seen. Hey Janet, how you going? Mandy from Missing Persons, this is Phil.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Janet's home video of this family wedding reminds her just how hard it was for Marlene during her mum's illness. And then her mum died.
It was too much for Marlene. She just...
She didn't know where she belonged then?
I don't know whether to call her. She lost it. I don't know what to call her anymore, but she was devastated.
On top of coping with her mother's death, Marlene was also having trouble paying the rent. She was eventually evicted.
Unfortunately, when she lost the unit in Fairfield, she stayed with the friends, a couple of friends. We visited her on and off, but then after that, there was no contact, nothing. And to come to this stage, and after all these years hard working and building her life, and all of a sudden, you're in the street, it's... Well, put it this way, I can't bear that.
No.
I just can't imagine her get hurt. She's a beautiful person. She gives so much love to others, and yet today you're alone, for God's sake.
In Darwin, in the case of 26-year-old long-term missing tourist Jamie Herdman, Detective Kerry Harris from Northern Territory's Missing Persons Unit is meeting with Jamie's dad, Steve, and his partner, Deb.
How are you?
They've just flown in from their home in England to launch their own quest to find Jamie.
All right, basically, let's just drop in and say good day and see how you're getting on, and just to bring you up to date with what sort of happened. As you know, the newspaper article on Tuesday has generated a number of phone calls, so I've had about 6 phone calls. As yet, unconfirmed sightings. What are your plans from here? Do you intend to stay in Darwin for a length of time, or what's the story?
Our plans are pretty flexible, really, but I think we will stay around this area for a while. We want to get down to Darty Waters, definitely, and spend some time down there.
Yep.
Want to just retrace all the stops that Jamie made, which we've been able to establish through his FPOS transaction. Yep. So just ask around, spend a bit of time with the locals, and somebody might remember something.
Yeah. Well, that went very well. Steve and Deb are very determined to carry out their own investigation into Jamie's disappearance. We've obviously got our investigations from the leads from the newspaper article, and hopefully they will bring a successful resolution to the disappearance of Jamie.
Meanwhile, Mandy and Phil continued their search for Marlene. They're here at the local police station to identify nearby areas where homeless people often live.
We've had a 51-year-old lady go missing, and she's been seen around Fairfield area. We believe she's pushing a shopping trolley, but I guess basically we'd be sort of interested in any areas she may, or that homeless people may frequent.
There are a couple of areas where homeless people are known to go.
Yeah.
One of the chief areas is the Crescent Reserve near the Fairfield railway station.
Yep.
And probably the other primary area that you might want to have a look at is the actual Fairfield Park. Some of the homeless are known to camp in that area.
Pretty sad to think that people actually live, though, out here. Hello, how are you? We're looking for an elderly lady that's been pushing a shopping trolley around.
I've seen so many people go up and down pushing trolleys. It's a shortcut.
The elderly lady, it looks like she might be living out of her trolley with clothes and things in her trolley, not so much groceries.
It doesn't ring a bell.
That's okay.
No luck here, so Mandy and Phil head on to the main shopping street. And then Mandy spots a homeless woman sitting on a bus seat.
My name's Mandy. This is Phil. Do you know a Marlene? She pushed a shopping trolley?
Have you seen another woman who pushes a trolley?
Gypsy one. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
She's a local identity known as Streetwise Sue, and she's as good as her name, giving Mandy some positive leads.
She's a good friend. We grew up together.
She did. She grew up in Fairfield all her life. Yeah. You see Marlene around anywhere?
Probably at the church.
The church?
The Christian church.
For lunch?
Yeah.
She's an absolute gem. Very, very helpful. Supplied some very vital information that she possibly has lunch with Marlene on a Monday and Wednesday. So we've got a lunch date with Sue at the church, and hopefully we get to meet Marlene as well.
Out on the Northern Territory, Jamie Herdman's family has been on the road for 6 hours. They're about to arrive in Daly Waters. Jamie came here after reporting to police that a New Zealand gang was following him.
Probably a lot of mixed emotions today. It's always hard coming back here because this is the last sort of area that Jamie was seen in. Daly Waters definitely holds a key in this whole mystery, and that's why we're here again, I guess.
Daly Waters. Population 30. It's little more than a truck stop in the middle of nowhere between Darwin and Alice Springs.
Just right against that fence. Jamie had just nudged his van right in there. Wasn't noticed for a day or two, and then staff noticed it and thought they'd better come down and check it out, and the keys weren't in it, but everything else was intact. And for some reason, he's just disappeared off the face of the earth from the spot. This could have been the last place that Jamie was... Well, it was the last place he was seen alive. He could still be around this area. I think this area does hold the key, definitely, yeah. And the more I think about it, the more I believe that to be the case.
Back in New South Wales, in the search for bag lady Marlene Najarian, Mandy and Phil have dropped into this soup kitchen where she's a regular.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, Butch. Butch.
And true to her word, Streetwise Sue is here to meet them.
Have you seen Marlene? Still not seen her? This is taken August last year, so she look a bit different now. Her cousin reported her missing, and she just wants to talk to her on the phone just so she knows she's okay.
I know a chick like that, but she's got short hair and she wears gold.
Yeah.
She wears a lot of gold, rings and stuff.
Maybe. We're actually looking for this lady. Does she look familiar?
Yeah, I think
she
so,
does?
yes. Yeah. Probably within the last few weeks I've seen her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone Mandy speaks to recognises Marlene. At least it's a good sign.
I'm confident she's still in the Fairfield area. We know she's grown up here. I mean, I'd be surprised if she's gone somewhere she's not familiar with. So we'll keep trying, we'll find her.
Meanwhile, Marlene's cousin, Janet, is worried sick.
Please, wherever you are, just give me a ring. That's all I'm asking.
At the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit, there's a breaking case.
Yes, can I speak to Josephine, please?
Speaking.
Yeah, Josephine, my name's Steve McAllister from the Police Missing Persons Unit. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Steve is talking to the frantic mother of 24-year-old carpet cleaner Mandili Barletta.
When was the last time you seen him?
I saw him on the Sunday. Now, it wasn't this Sunday.
Yep.
That's just expired. It was the Sunday before.
So the 2nd. OK, and he was living with his fiancé, was that correct?
Yes, and her family.
That was until 4 days ago, when Mandili's fiancé threw him out after an argument. No one has seen him since.
It's been a nightmare since day one. She doesn't like him to mix with his old friends from Leichhardt.
Yep.
He's not allowed to mix with my family. We're not good enough. So he comes to me, he says, Mum, I've been kicked out again. I say, well, here, darling, it's your room.
Right, OK. And does he work at all?
Yes.
All right. What sort of work's he?
OK, he has a cleaning company.
Yep.
Which he started off a few years ago. But he subcontracts.
So he contracts out with him?
Yep. He has a big contract on Sundays.
And he didn't turn up for that, do you know?
It's the first time in 4 years.
And he didn't show?
They've never missed a job.
So the boss, like someone...
Yeah, he's the one who triggered the alarm, actually.
OK, then. Well, do you mind if we drop out and see you?
Oh, I appreciate that.
We'll see you later.
OK, then. Thank you. Bye-bye.
No worries. Bye. He's a young fella who's actually running a business by himself, you know, so he's not a mug. He's trying to get on with life, and set himself up, and it is worrying that he just doesn't turn up.
On the other side of the office, Mandy has had feedback about bag lady Marlene's financial records.
We know she's getting payments on a regular basis, so from that we were able to see regular dates and times that she was actually doing that. So we've been able to pinpoint a time, and it's pretty much to the second when she was there.
So Mandy is about to check surveillance footage to confirm if it is Marlene who's been withdrawing money.
There she is.
Mandy's right. It is Marlene queuing up.
Pull back, and there's the bag.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely her. She looks, well, she's lost weight in the face, though, hasn't she?
So Mandy and Phil rush off, hoping to find Marlene at the bank.
Hopefully Marlene will be down there to withdraw some money this morning, so fingers crossed, and hopefully we get a happy ending this morning. Tell you what, today, if we get her today, we'll be lucky.
Hopefully she's here.
She'll be here.
Just as they arrive, Mandy spots someone who looks just like Marlene leaving the shopping centre.
What's the road?
If the woman under the red and white umbrella is Marlene, it'll bring an end to more than 4 months of worry for her family. Across town, Steve and Lee are on their way to interview the mum of jilted 24-year-old Mandeli Barletta.
Because he's got the problem with his relationship breaking down, the pressures are mounting on this young fella are immense. The quicker we can get to speak to him, the better.
Mandeli was a promising soccer player who sacrificed his sporting career to care for his sick mother.
Hello, Josephina.
Yes.
Yes, Steve McAllister.
Hi, yes, I've spoken to you.
And Lee.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Can we just come in and have a word with you? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, have you contacted his father?
Yes, I have.
He's heard nothing from him?
Nothing. He's tried through his contacts.
Now, him and Elizabeth sound like they've been going up and down a few times.
They've had a terrible relationship from day one, and a lot of his friends have maintained their friendship with him because of her.
But Mandeli's rocky engagement certainly isn't his only problem.
The last time he was here, he just said, Mum, you know, the bills, I'm in debt and I want to get out of debt. And I was sanctimonious and I thought, oh, God, you know, he wants us to sell the house now, which I'm not prepared to do. And I just said to him, darling, can you give me a bit of time? I'm having a massive operation at the end of this month. It's life-threatening, but I have to have it. I need to have a normal life. I've been a very sick woman for many years, and this is something I've been fighting for, to have an operation. I've done so much. I've had to nurse my mum that I had to bury last year, and mentally paid for her. He paid for his nan's funeral. He's quite honourable in a lot of ways. So, I mean, he went and got a loan. Now, unfortunately, the loan is a short-term, high-interest loan.
Right, okay.
It was all he could do because he was maxed out with credit.
Right, yep.
He said to me, how can I have a future, Mum, when I'm weighed down with all these debts? Even the loan sharks can really hurt you. They can physically hurt you.
Yeah, can I speak to Claudio, please?
Police are hoping his best mate might know where he is.
I'm just making some inquiries about a friend of yours, Mandela?
I heard from him on Saturday.
Saturday, okay, yep.
Yeah, Saturday. He sounded okay. Just needed some space, I think, just to get away. Yeah.
What, he was upset because him and his girlfriend sort of had a bit of a argument?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did he say where he was going?
The last time I heard, he was in Wollongong, and then he rang me on Sunday saying he's okay. He didn't tell me where he was, but he's fine, and not to worry.
And not to worry. Okay. Mate, can you do me a favour? Can you just send him a message? Because obviously he's going to talk to you because you're his best mate. Just asking him to contact you so you can let him know that he's been reported missing, and you know, we need to speak to him anyway.
That's not a problem.
Okay, thanks very much for your time, Claudia.
No worries.
See you, mate. Bye.
It's at least good news that Mandili is alive and has been in contact with his friend. But at home, his mum, Josephine, makes this plea to her son.
Mentally, there are things that we can help you with. Or there's always solutions to problems, and you don't have to necessarily get in contact with me, but, you know, I'd love to hear from you, and Dad would love to hear from you. We do care.
In the Northern Territory, Steve Herdman is continuing the heartbreaking search for his son, Jamie.
But I've wandered around all through all this area, and you start looking at mound dirt and bloody... But you can imagine, where do you start looking? Like, you can't just... I've wandered all the way up the roads, and I spent a whole day wandering around, and then I realised, man, you can't do this.
No.
Steve's partner, Deb, has known 26-year-old Jamie since he was a baby.
I just sort of think, oh, well, he's been here, you know, he could have walked across that road and just... Yeah. A funny feeling. Just a funny feeling. It's just all these little niggly things that there's just no answers to. It's just an ongoing sort of a mystery.
It is.
It's just a mystery.
But that's why we're here. That's why we're here now, though, so we can start hopefully ticking them off and yeah.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah, we will.
Back in New South Wales...
Yeah, Elizabeth?
Yep.
Yeah, my name's Senior Constable McAllister from the Police Missing Persons Unit. How are you?
Mandili Barletta's fiancé ordered him to leave the house they were sharing. She was fed up with his lifestyle.
How long have you been with him?
We've been together since October 2002.
October 2002. And is this the first time you sort of had a disagreement and he's sort of gone out?
He's done that quite a bit, quite frequently, but this time it's been quite bad because he knows what he's done is wrong, and I'm not going to put up with it, so he left and knew that he had done wrong this time.
Okay. What can you tell me about your fiancé?
Throughout our relationship, he's been gambling quite a bit, hides a lot of things from me, gets involved with certain people that I do not like, lies about the sort of people that he's hanging out with. He goes out drinking, and then I decided that I couldn't put up with what's been happening. And I said, look, I don't think it's going to work out. And he was quite upset and quite angry. And then he stormed out and then sent me a few text messages saying, don't worry about all my things, and saying that he's driving away and never coming back.
Mandili's 6-year relationship is over. He's in debt and being chased by loan sharks. Police now fear it's all become too much for the 24-year-old. Back up in Daly Waters in the Northern Territory, Steve and Deb are about to speak to the owner of a roadhouse truck stop where Jamie visited.
G'day, Al. How you doing?
Oh, g'day, Steve. How are you, mate?
Back again.
Yeah, back to the good country, eh?
Good to see you. This is my partner, Deb.
Publican Al Hoxima remembers Jamie and, like Steve, is astounded that Jamie could just vanish into thin air.
We just sort of feel that this place, being the last place that Jamie was seen alive, could hold a lot of answers. I guess,
you think someone would know in the area or
you
something
really
like
do.
that.
You know, that's been our plea right from the start, that we feel that somebody knows something. Yeah. We've just got these new posters. I know you're really great and would let us put these on the window.
Oh, right.
Can we just put one of those up? We'd sort of...
No problem, mate. You
Is
put
that
them,
okay if we do that?
Put them on,
if we just leave
put them on both entrances, mate, and you can leave some with us and we'll distribute them, whatever.
Appreciate that, Al. And we'll just keep looking, and we've based ourselves in Darwin now, so you'll probably see a bit more of us. And
we'll welcome you any time, and we'll do what we can.
The best that Steve can hope for now is that the posters will jog someone's memory.
Just appealing to anyone out there that was in the Daly Waters area on the 30th of November, 006, please come forward so that we can find our boy.
Meanwhile, back in the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit, Gary's been assigned a new case. He's on the phone to Lucas Blacker. His 77-year-old mum, Betty, is missing.
When did she actually go missing?
She left the retirement village yesterday after lunch.
Yep.
Technically, she became missing when she didn't return, 7 o'clock last night.
And what makes her disappearance so worrying is that Betty, like 200,000 other Australians, has dementia.
And what did she do? What if she just sort of goes out for the day or something, or anything particular? Or?
Right, she normally has something to eat at the cafe at David Jones, Elizabeth Street store. They said she was in about 2:30 yesterday afternoon. She seemed fine.
Would she have had money with her or have access to a card or something?
No, we've taken the cards away.
Yep.
She had about $150 on her.
Yep.
But what's happened in the past is if she gets off a train at the wrong station, she will not get back on a train and get to the right station.
Yeah, that's a bit of a worry, isn't it?
Yeah. She feels that she can walk home from anywhere.
And what does she just sort of just get disorientated, does she, and just doesn't know where she is or something?
That's it. She thinks she does. Now, she comes across as being quite capable.
Yeah.
If you sat down and talked to her, you probably think that there's nothing wrong with her.
Well, we might as well head out late.
And that's what Gary is worried about. Betty could be lost in a city of 4 million people and no one would know she was in any trouble. 77-year-old dementia sufferer Betty Blacker went missing from Sydney's city centre yesterday. Gary and Lee are about to interview her son, Lucas.
Gary Bailey. Hi, Gary. Mr. Constable Hadley.
Lee Hadley.
How are you? Come in. Thanks very much.
Take a seat on the lounge.
Yeah, it's sort of starting to get a bit disturbing, this, isn't it?
Yeah, we have found out that she was at David Jones.
She was definitely there?
Yeah, they reckon about 2:30.
Did you leave them a message if
yes, they are.
To come back to give you a ring?
Yep, they're going to ring us and try and hold her there.
Yep.
We think she's got disorientated somehow and missed a stop at Beverly Hills Station.
Yeah.
And once she gets off a train, she won't get back on another train.
Is she on any medication at all?
Yes, medication for dementia.
Yep. Did she have that with her, do you know?
No.
No.
And if Betty is lost on the streets without her medication, she needs to be found ASAP. Back in the search for homeless Marlene Najarian, it's now more than 4 months since anyone has seen her. But that is all about to change.
Marlene. This is you?
Yeah.
We've been looking for you.
Finally, police have caught up with her.
You walk so fast.
Yeah.
We speak to Janet Atto.
Yeah, all right.
She's your cousin. They were all worried about you.
Oh, no, I told her not to worry about me.
Can I ring her?
Here at shopping centre.
Can I ring her? Can you just tell her that you're okay?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'll ring her. Is that Janet? It's Mandy from Missing Person. I've got someone wants to say hello to you. It's Janet.
Hi, how are you? Don't. Why you are worried so much, sweetheart? I told you not to worry. I'm not a baby. I was at Robert's place to pick up my letters. He didn't tell you?
Tell her come have coffee.
Yeah, why don't you come over and have a coffee because I have opened with my agency. Okay then. All right, here, I'll give you to Mandy.
She looks so well. Listen to you.
She's going to love to catch up with you.
Yeah.
Hang on, Janet. Can we have a coffee? Yeah. After your meeting, you come in there?
Yeah, all right.
And she wait and say hello and then we'll go.
Okay then.
Okay?
All right then.
Mandy's official duty may be over, but typically she won't be satisfied until she reunites these two cousins.
That was so exciting. Right place, right time. Looked like her. She was going so fast, we were worried we could catch her, but in the end she turned around and gave us a big smile. She's safe, she's well, and yeah, I think for Janet though, I think she needs to see her in person.
Across town, Gary and Lee are heading into the city centre. 77-year-old dementia sufferer Betty Blacker has already spent one night lost and alone on the streets.
The real problem is we have with finding Betty is she gets around and is actually a normal person. And until she sort of gets stuck in a spot and starts just hanging around there, people just sort of won't take any notice of her. Going into David Jones, we've got some information that Betty was in there yesterday about 2:30 having some lunch. So we'll try and obtain some CT footage there, which will give us an idea of when she actually left David Jones and maybe what direction she went in.
So while Gary and Lee arrive at the department store, Betty's son Lucas knows that the longer she's missing, the worse it'll be.
We're worried, getting very concerned. I'm only hopeful that she's wandering around because she's been taken into a hospital or something like that. We'd be aware of it by now. It's a hard situation because we sort of expected it to happen, but we don't know what to really feel at the moment. We're just hoping we get her back soon.
We've had no luck in David Jones. She definitely hasn't been in today. We're just going to go over to St James Railway now and have a look over there.
I'll go down and have a look at the platform.
Betty's not here either. But if she did catch a train from here, the station master might recognise her.
Gary Bailey from the Missing Persons.
Skip.
Lee Hadley,
how you going? Skip, how you going?
Mate, well, you got the photo there.
Yeah, I do.
We've been looking for an old lady that sort of frequents around here. I don't know whether you might have seen her around at all. Yeah. I wanted tomorrow, if she doesn't turn up tonight, we might get some good posters and that made up. But do you mind if we could just put them around the...
No problem.
Thank you.
OK.
Another dead end. So police can only hope that if Betty is lost in the city, a good Samaritan will notice her and offer help. Here at Sydney's Missing Persons Unit, in the case of jilted lover Mandili Barletta, there's been a breakthrough after 5 days.
Hello, Josephine. This is Senior Constable McAllister from...
Hello. Mandili made contact with me last night.
Did he?
Yep, apparently he was heading back into town. He was about 4 or 5 hours away. He was terribly shocked with what all had gone on.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And now his father rang me about half an hour ago and he said, oh, Mandili's at his house.
Right, yeah.
I honestly don't believe he was the same person last night. And he said, you know, and he started crying and he said, Mum, I love you.
Yeah.
You know, and I just said, oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, OK, then. We'll try and see if we can contact him anyway.
It's good news. So police head off to cite Mandili.
A lot of people seem to want to go just for time out after they have a problem, whether it be money, relationship problem, anything like that, and they just seem to want to take off. There's quite a large percentage of missing people who fall into this category. It'd just be great if they could just tell someone before they go.
And just a few suburbs away, Gary Bailey has great news in the case of 77-year-old dementia sufferer Betty Blacker.
We're going over to see Mrs. Blacker. She's been located. She's over at her son's place having some lunch. So we're just going to go over inside her and see if she can tell us anything about her little adventure she had.
Fortunately, Betty was found by police, safe and well, just a few blocks from her retirement village. And she's not looking too bad either, after almost 30 hours on the streets.
Too bad. You're not missing at the moment.
I'm Lee. How you going?
That's Lee. Ah. So you'll be glad to be home then?
I've been home for a long while. I mean, that happened ages ago, and I can't remember a lot about it either.
What can you remember?
I don't know what I can remember now. It seems so long ago.
Yeah, well, all we know, we got a call that you'd sort of gone missing from home. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then sort of after that, we don't know where you went.
No, neither do I.
You can't remember?
No. I think I was somewhere down near the harbour.
Mm.
I don't know whether I was under the harbour bridge or not.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I might have been there because it's my harbour and I like it and I go down there a lot.
Yep.
And I'm a water person.
Yeah. It's a beautiful spot there, isn't it?
It is.
Can you remember the police picking you up?
No, well, I can't really.
Mm.
No, because I've got Alzheimer's.
Yes,
as well.
I know that, yeah. No. Yep.
And it's very handy at times. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yes.
And you know, it takes less energy to smile than it does to frown. So if you all laugh now, you'll be right.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's a good result. Mrs. Black is home safe and well. She doesn't remember much at all about her exercise at all. Just the memory's just gone. But there's now provisions being put in place at the nursing home where, you know, she just won't be allowed to go out willy-nilly and she'll just go out in groups and she'll be kept an eye on. But it's a great result.
And a good result in the case of Mandili Barletta too. He finally returned home to his dad.
You're the man we come to see?
Yeah, yes, sir.
How are you?
Yeah, right.
Steve. Mandili, yeah?
Yeah.
So, mate, a few things got to you?
Yeah, get away for a little bit.
Yeah. Mate, just remember, just to let someone know, because like, a few people have been quite worried about you, including your father, your mother.
Yeah, I didn't really think of the consequences, to tell you the truth, yeah. Should have came here first of all, but just wanted to get away.
Yep, speak to a man of probably wealth of wisdom. Yeah. You know, been there, done that.
Yeah, no.
They come to me, go to the police. They are counsellors. I mean, once you get the numbers, you speak to someone first and at least exhaust the available, you know, resources before you leave everyone in a panic.
Yeah, just wanted to get away, go and have a bit of fun up the coast and... Yeah, no.
Trouble is, mate, it sends all alarm bells ringing, like...
Yeah, I know. So I didn't really think of the consequences.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, mate, but puts people under stress. Cool. Right, yeah.
Mandili reckons he wasn't running from loan sharks, but was more depressed about the breakup with his fiancée and needed time out.
We can get some phone numbers and that and you can contact them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That'd be great.
OK, it's just good to see you OK, mate?
Yeah.
So your dad's relieved, your mum's relieved?
Yeah, that's good, at least, yeah.
So, but just remember, just let someone know.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's good to see Mandela's home. He's got a good father who can probably help him with his problems. I think he can get himself back on track and I think he can have a great life.
Across town, months of anguish are about to end for Janet as she's reunited with her cousin, Marlene. It's an emotional moment for everyone.
How about Janet? Good news?
You're making me. Stop it.
He hasn't told you. Violet hasn't told you.
Wonderful people.
Thank you. Thanks.
And while Marlene plays it down, Janet couldn't be happier.
I just can't put it in words. If you're looking for so long and then you have no contact at all and then you just cry yourself to sleep and thinking, just praying to say, I hope to God she's okay. You know, this is the happiest moment of my life. This is so beautiful to see.
Janet, she cares about everybody. Janet, she cares about everybody. It's very...
And you.
That's a great result. I couldn't hope for any better, and I don't think Janet's going to let go of Marlene anytime soon, and that's what family's all about, making contact and letting someone know that you're there and you care, so everything's good.
Every year, over 35,000 people go missing. Have you seen 39-year-old Peter Gill, who disappeared from Newtown, Tasmania in 2006? Or 44-year-old Andrew Johnson, last seen in Elliot, Northern Territory in 1994. And 37-year-old Stephen Mitchell, missing from Mortdale, Sydney in 2007. If you have any information, please call 1800 333 000.
To Janet, she's a cousin of our missing person, and we're just going to sit down and get an idea of what her cousin's like and just the area she was last seen. Hey Janet, how you going? Mandy from Missing Persons, this is Phil.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Janet's home video of this family wedding reminds her just how hard it was for Marlene during her mum's illness. And then her mum died.
It was too much for Marlene. She just...
She didn't know where she belonged then?
I don't know whether to call her. She lost it. I don't know what to call her anymore, but she was devastated.
On top of coping with her mother's death, Marlene was also having trouble paying the rent. She was eventually evicted.
Unfortunately, when she lost the unit in Fairfield, she stayed with the friends, a couple of friends. We visited her on and off, but then after that, there was no contact, nothing. And to come to this stage, and after all these years hard working and building her life, and all of a sudden you're in the street, it's... Well, put it this way, I can't bear that.
No.
I just can't imagine her get hurt. She's a beautiful person. She gives so much love to others.
But it was unlocked.
And no passport either?
No, no.
There have been numerous separate sightings of Jamie in Yass, in regional New South Wales and in Sydney.
I wonder if you've seen this fella around the area in the last couple of months.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely him?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I seen him on the weekend at the markets they held here in town.
Does that look like him?
Yeah, definitely.
But it looks as if Jamie has moved on and vanished again. So now his dad and partner Deb are relocating from England to Darwin to start their own search.
It's a big move, and obviously the family's looking for some form of closure with Jamie's disappearance, and to have one link in the family chain missing is very hard on all of them.
Northern Territory Police are pulling out all stops to find Jamie.
There was an article put in the Northern Territory News with Steve and his partner Deb and making another appeal. There has been a number of responses to that, and whilst nothing's been substantiated yet, there are obviously further avenues of investigation that we've got open to us.
With any luck, this article could lead to the answers that Jamie's family is so desperately seeking. Back in New South Wales, Mandy and Phil hit the road in the case of Marlene Najarian, missing now for 4 months.
We're heading out to St Mary's this morning to speak to...
We made it to the funeral, and after that, she just lost it.
Depressed and unable to face her mother's death, Marlene disappeared. But then, out of the blue 2 weeks ago, she was spotted living on the streets.
Who actually saw her around Fairfield?
One of the friends, I don't know, they just called me. They said, she's there. I went there. I didn't find her.
Okay.
I just need a roof over her head. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, Janet. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh. She's She's really distressed. She explained that her cousin obviously was a person with a lot of pride and her mum was everything to her. So when she's obviously lost her mother and to her obviously got nothing left and has taken to living on the streets, and if we can change that and help her understand she still has family here that care about her, well, that's a good thing.
Last week, we brought you the story of 26-year-old New Zealand tourist Jamie Herdman. Jamie's been missing since his camper van was found abandoned at a truck stop at Daly Waters in the Northern Territory. That was 18 months ago.
His mobile phone was located here, so there were no keys in the vehicle when it was located.
So that we could find our boy.
Hi and welcome to Missing Persons Unit. 1 in every 5 Australians at some stage will experience a mental illness. Of those, 9,000 will disappear each year, particularly due to depression or dementia. And all too often, it's left to the families or the carers to bear the brunt of these silent and cruel disorders. In this next episode, you'll see the great work police do when they reunite 3 such families. At the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit,
Hello, is that Janet?
Yes.
Janet,
Senior Constable Mandy Gale is speaking to the distressed cousin of 51-year-old Marlene Najarian, who vanished 16 weeks ago, soon after her mother's death.
Ever since her mother got sick, she refused to put her in the homes.
So she looked after her mum?
She looked after her till the last minute that she died in her hand in the unit. And that was it. Until...
Tonight on Missing Persons Unit, Mandili Barletta took off after being dumped by his fiancé.
He was quite upset and quite angry and saying that he's driving away and never coming back.
Jilted and in debt, his mother now fears life has all become too much for the 24-year-old.
Even the loan sharks can really hurt you. They can physically hurt you.
And where is 77-year-old dementia sufferer Betty Blacker?
We think she's got disorientated somehow and missed a stop at Beverly Hills Station.
Lost and alone in the city, police fear no one will know Betty needs help.
The real problem we have is finding Betty. Is people just sort of won't take any notice of her.
Marlene Najarian took to the streets after the death of her mother.
It made it to the funeral, and after that, she just lost it.
With no sign of her for 4 months, her family now holds grave fears.
Please, wherever you are, just give me a ring.
And the search continues for New Zealand tourist Jamie Herdman, who vanished from Australia's top end.
This could have been the last place that Jamie was seen alive.
His family, having flown to Australia, is desperate for answers to this 18-month-long mystery.
Please, come forward.